For the Liberal Group, Mr. Verhofstadt.
Let me be clear after the spokesman of the abstentionist party of Europe. The ECR can be a new name for the troops of Mr. Kamal. Our group is very clear. We shall support this new Commission as part, Mr. Juncker, of this broad, I hope for you, broad pro-European majority and coalition in this House. That said, I think that this debate was useful because it has made it clear that there are two visions on Europe. There are those in the majority, socialists, PPE, ourselves, ALDE, who think that we have to move forward with European integration. And those, Mr. Farage, who did his classical intervention for the British public, he's already in the British election. He is not in the European election, he's in the British election. For the moment, we shall see Marianne Le Pen in a few minutes. 2 minutes de patriotisme français à l'intérieur du Parlement européen.
She hasn't taken part in the debate, but she'll get her 2 minutes in a minute. That's what we're going to have. That will be Marine Le Pen. Good. I can see she's warming up. Then there's Mr. Lucke.
And I think he was also against the Commission and clearer than Mr. Kamal, saying, yeah, the problem is we are growing everywhere in the world, but not in Europe. That's the problem. And his receipt for that is, oh, let's give up the euro and let's give up the European Union. Like the Americans give up the dollar, and like the Americans give up the Chinese the renminbi, or the Japanese the yen. I didn't see the Americans for the moment saying, oh, we have to tackle the crisis. Let's go back to the 50 states and the 50 markets in the United States. What they are saying is more unity, common action. That is their response to the crisis. And that has to be our response to the crisis now, instead of what they are saying. So things have been very clear now. There are those who are saying to the public opinion, we shall create jobs by going back to the past. Well, I believe in the future, and for that reason the ALDE shall vote in favour of the Commission. Thank you.
Ms. Le Pen. Mr. Barroso has described his future European Union, his future projects, which will lead us into a deplorable Europe. He's proposing more austerity, which has led to the damage to the euro, unemployment, indebtedness and poverty. And now, Mr. Juncker, your future Commission is not based on any popular legitimacy. For your Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Lord Hill has been appointed, who's worked for banks all his life as a lobbyist for speculators. And then Dombrovskis, a former Latvian Prime Minister, introduced the most severe austerity plans in that country and led to so many people leaving the country. Then there's Mr. Cañete, responsible for climate and energy. He has very close links with 2 oil companies, which he set up himself, and which his family continues to control. What about ethics and independence in policy, impartiality, and independence from lobbies? You haven't achieved that. You're not going to achieve that, and thus you're insulting all the people of Europe. You're going to have more free trade, unbridled trade with the new agreements with Canada and the United States. The new CAP is bringing our farmers to their knees, and will lead to a deterioration in the quality of agricultural produce and the environment. You're seeking in the new TTIP agreement to align French standards, agricultural standards and others with the standards of the United States, which will allow also the TTIP agreement to have private companies taking governments to court if their interests are they feel their interests are undermined. You're doing everything to favour the international, transnational companies to the detriment of the European Union. At the same time, we're seeing a deterioration on our public services, privatisation of our public services, even the disappearance of our public services. This is the direction you will take us in. Increasingly, multinationals will be gaining power in Europe above and beyond democracy. the current Euro policy is going to carry on impoverishing the people of Europe. It will have no effect on employment or prosperity. And what about Turkey? Your plans to bring Turkey into the European Union? What a visionary you are, Mr. Juncker. Look at the people of Kobani and the way they are suffering just on the doorstep of South Turkey at the moment. No, I think I can say, as we used to say in France, with you we can be sure of the worst. And now the vote. The election of the European Commission. Now, I have to give you a few organisational details. First of all, we have to vote on the motions which have been tabled.